Time now for Michigan's #1 outdoor radio show, Mike Avery's Outdoor Magazine. Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by Jay's Sporting Goods, the Yider Insurance Group, Forward Corporation and T.R. McTaggart, Angler Quest Boats, Security Credit Union, Garber Chevrolet, and by Michigan Brand Meats. Now, here's Mike Avery.
Yes, indeed, this is the big guy, Mike Avery. Welcome to hour number 3 of this week's Outdoor Magazine show as we work our way into the month of December. This is actually the first show, I'm thinking about it now, the first show for the month of December. And what does that mean? Well, it means that we made it through Thanksgiving. And it means that we're that much closer to having 2020 be gone. And I think we're all going to be looking forward to that, right? But also December, of course, Christmas coming up. The late muzzleloader season that we were talking about throughout much of the show this year, or this week. And this year in the southern part of the state, in some areas, you can actually use a centerfire rifle. Been talking about the great walleye fishing going on. Many parts of our state. We haven't talked much about the great steelhead fishing, but that's out there as well. Small game season kicking back in with rabbit season, trapping, predator hunting, ice fishing may be coming up. Well, ice fishing will be coming up. It's just a matter of when. And that's one of the reasons, those are all reasons why I love this state so much. You know, we may not have the best of everything, but I think we have the best mix of outdoor recreational opportunities of any place I've ever been. And I've been blessed to be a few places. Nowhere else I want to live other than right here in Michigan. The older I get, the less I like the snow and cold and the ice. I will admit that, but that's just the old man in me coming out. I don't dislike it enough to want to move to Florida. I mean, maybe a midwinter visit to Florida sounds good, but I don't want to move anywhere else. I love this state. And it's been a great state to base my career as an outdoor communicator, a broadcaster primarily, because of that breadth of opportunities here. And I'm not alone. There are a lot of people in our state who are, I consider, top-tier outdoor communicators, and I think obviously much of that relies on or is based on their talent, but also the fact that we live in such a geographically and diverse area, in an area with so many different outdoor opportunities. Take a guy like Dave Rose. Dave Rose, an outdoor writer, an outdoor communicator, and also a fishing guide as well. Go to his website, wildfishing.com to learn more. And Dave is one of my favorite guests on the radio show as well, just because he's such an easy guy to talk with, and again, such a wealth of knowledge. And guess what? He's with us once again. David A. Rose, welcome back to the Outdoor Magazine show.
And the crowd goes wild, and I take a bow.
You're using Charlie's line. That's what Charlie in the studio always says.
Oh, really? It's funny. Okay. Hey, I just real quick, I can't agree with you more about, while we may not have the best of a specific species or type of hunting, we have the most diversified. And I think that's what helped me in my outdoor career, especially being in the northwest corner of lower Michigan where I am. When I say we have every species of fish that swims in the Midwest except stripers, and even then they're considered a southern fish or paddlefish even, but and the hunting opportunities are just endless. So, yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I mean, people say, well, we don't have world-class whitetail hunting like they do out west, but still, it's pretty darn good, and we do have world-class waterfowl hunting and world-class upland bird hunting and world-class turkey hunting, so it all balances out. I mean, you've been to Alaska, I've been to Alaska, I've been to Africa, I've been to beautiful places in Mexico, and they're fun to visit, but man, when you take a look at what we have here, like out west, they have some great salmon fishing, but what can they keep, 2 fish a year? Well, that wouldn't fly here in Michigan.
Right. Nope, I totally agree. I mean, It's amazing. A lot of people do complain about limits getting lowered or something like this, and we can talk about this sometime too. The technology has changed so much. Humans are getting a little bit of upper hand advantage on fish and wild game. So yeah, we got to be careful.
Well, there are an awful lot of days when I don't feel like I've got the upper hand at all. I feel like I'm losing the battle against those critters more often than not.
Well, they're working on instinct, and sometimes we like to overthink things. And then, hey, when you're not in the mood, you're not in the mood. I mean, if you don't feel good and the ice cream truck goes by, you're not going to chase it down probably. But then the same thing with fish or deer. If they're not hungry, if they're whatever the weather pressure has got them doing this or that, they're not going to chase down a lure or scamper through the woods.
That's a very interesting observation because I think often I try to overthink things. I try to put too much into it. Why? What if? And you're saying, look, sometimes it's just the odds are working against you because we're in their environment. When we're fishing or hunting, we're in their world, trying to get them to cooperate with what we want to have happen.
Yeah. And it's funny. Through the world of social media, especially, I've really seen this. And let's take muskie for an example. Quite an aloof fish for most people. I mean, there's not a ton of them, but there might be a week, and it's not just here in Michigan, but I get on social media, and the guys in Minnesota, the guys and gals in Wisconsin, the guys and gals in Michigan, over in New York, that same week, you could tell the muskie bite was on. They were showing pictures of, and then it's gone. It's gone just like that. And last year, year ago, this past weekend, went with some buds, had an exceptional day of walleye fishing. We didn't catch a lot. We caught 3 over 10 pounds, though.
Wow.
And, and this was kind of an inland area. So, and somebody else, I kind of shared it as a memory, going, ooh, that was a good day last year. And somebody else spoke up and said, that was a great week. And they weren't in the same place. They were in a different state. But for some reason, it's moon phases and barometric this, or who knows. But yeah, it just doesn't turn on, on your lake. It turns on in the entire state, and if not the Midwest.
You guys caught 3 double-digit fish out of an inland lake on one trip?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
It was nothing. No.
It was nothing.
No, it was something. Like I said, I think the boat I was in, there was just a bud and I, and we land like 4, and I got a 10-point whatever it was, and I think the other side was a 9-pounder or something like that, which was one of the smaller ones, of course.
Sure.
The other boat we were with, they were in 3 guys in the boat, and it was, I think their biggest was 11.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's as I look around the world these days, not just the outdoor world, but everything has kind of changed. Everything is different. For example, Dave, I know that you are very intimately involved in the show span shows, and we just got word this week that the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit actually got moved back almost to the Grand Rapids dates this year, right? Correct. The weekend after. So blessed that we could move it, because people just say, oh, you can move dates. Well, a facility such as the Suburban Collection Showplace down in Novi, where the Ultimate Fishing Show happens, they may have another venue going on or something, whatever. And that time frame, that early March, mid-March, late March, great time frame to have shows. And yeah, it's a blessing right there. So hopefully everybody minds their P's and Q's, and we can start. Showspan, they're not just saying, oh, let's see how many people we can get in here and who cares about COVID and all that kind of stuff. It's been amazing. I've been on the phone with management over there. And Showspan, folks, is the company that runs the Ultimate Fishing Show as well, others. And, their number one goal is, let's have a show, but let's make sure we do this right, None of the staff want to get it, so let alone spread it, throughout a community. Well, it'll be weird not having that show in early January down in Novi like you guys have had for so many years.
Yeah, it's been quite a few years, and it's literally the largest all fishing show in the United States, not just square footage wise, but just the amount of booths and everything they have in there, and the companies that come in, and it's going to be very, very different, and we still don't know what's going to go on. You think about some of these companies that really depend on that show, the small guys that sell their wares there, and well, January they're not going to make any money, and then Canadian outfitters, they still can't cross the border, who knows when they can and stuff. So yeah, there's going to be they're going to do the best they can, and it's going to be a darn good show.
I have no doubt of that. Absolutely. Well, you talk about the Canadian situation. I've got friends in White River, Ontario, where we usually go to bear hunt every year, and they miss their spring hunt. They miss their fall hunt. They may well miss next spring's bear hunt as well. And they rely on us Americans and our American dollars coming across that border.
Oh, they rely on, and we rely on them for a lot of things too, just like the shows, having the companies come over, hotels, food, and all that kind of stuff. It's really up in the air.
Well, all we can do is what we can do, and that's make the most of it and use this time to get outdoors as much as we can.
You got her.
Dave, if I go to the website wildfishing.com, what am I going to find? Has it been updated yet?
No, sir. Thank you very much. And the crowd goes wild.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I
figure I got to put.
Just, embarrass me.
No, I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm just trying to put some social pressure on you, Dave.
You are
to bring that website up to reflect the man who you are today.
You're exactly right. That picture was from 2000, I think, of me. So yes, I've lost a lot of weight since then, and I don't have brown and red hair anymore.
Well, hey, I don't have any hair anymore, so I shaved it off. So I get what you're saying. We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine Show. When we come back, more with Dave Rose. You can still check out the website, though, wildfishing.com. At least get an idea what Dave's all about. Coming up after the break right here on Outdoor Magazine.
The folks at Yider Insurance Group know you have lots of money invested in your hunting and fishing gear, and they want you to be protected. The Yider family has been in the insurance business for more than 75 years, and they build a reputation for taking great care of their customers. As a full-service agency featuring auto owners insurance, Yider can insure your fishing and hunting gear, your boat, snowmobile, ATV, and trailer, just about everything you depend on for your outdoor adventures. Yider also specializes in protecting outdoor-related businesses, from fishing guides to shooting ranges, anything for the great outdoors. The folks at Yider can help you because they're hunters and anglers themselves, and they know what we need from an insurance company. For more info, go to their website, huntingandfishinginsurance.com. That's huntingandfishinginsurance.com. Or call them toll-free at 800-975-6473. I trust the Yider Group and auto owners for all my insurance needs, because with Yider and auto owners, you've got friends in the outdoor insurance business. Everybody needs to put gas in their tank, so the next time, why not save money with fuel rewards from Forward Shell convenience stores? With fuel rewards, you'll save at least 5 cents a gallon on every fill-up at the 26 Forward Shell convenience stores. Plus, you can earn additional savings with select products and special offers at those Forward stores. You can save 20, 30, even 40 cents a gallon. And the more you use fuel rewards, the more you can save. I use the Fuel Rewards program every time I stop by a Forward Shell convenience store. And you can too. Go to fuelrewards.com. That's fuelrewards.com. You can also download the Fuel Rewards app on your phone. The Fuel Rewards program at your local Forward Shell convenience store. A great way to save money every time you fill up. To learn more, check out forwardconvenience.com. That's forwardconvenience.com. Food plots are a big deal these days, and nobody knows food plots better than the folks at Michigan-based Killer Food Plots. Company owner Nick Percy has worked hard to develop premier whitetail habitat for almost 3 decades. That experience, combined with expertise in building healthy soil and choosing the right seed, will produce the results you're looking for. KFP's natural-based Groganics Fusion Fertilizer and Retain Moisture and nutrient-absorbing pellets can give you the edge in creating food plots to attract and keep deer on your property. Check out their website, killerfoodplots.com. That's killerfoodplots.com. Killer Food Plots can help you get your soil where it needs to be to produce lots of healthy, great-tasting food for wildlife and cover crops to screen your plots and even direct the deer where you want them. This year, take your food plots to the next level with Killer Food Plots. killerfoodplots.com.
It's a complicated world we live in. Right about now, I'll bet your head is spinning like a tornado with news and opinions and conflicting do this and don't do that recommendations. Some days, you just want to throw up your hands, go to the woods, and stay there. And you know, that's not a bad idea. Jay's Sporting Goods encourages you to get back to your roots. Do some simple, traditional things for a while. In Michigan's great outdoors, space is one thing we have plenty of. So put as much social distance as you like between you and everyone else, including all your social media pals who somehow just recently became experts on every topic. And one more thing. Before you head out, head into Jay's Sporting Goods. Because even though there are shortages of a lot of things these days, Jay's has just what you need to make the most of your escape to our beautiful wide open spaces. It's the gateway to social distancing the way God intended. Jay's Sporting Goods, Claire and Gaylord.
You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Houghton Lake on 98.5 WUPS. You can hear us in Manistee on WMLQ. That's 97.7. And you can hear us just down the road in Muskegon on WKBZ 1090 AM. Outdoor Magazine is brought to you in part by the Hunter Safety System. I know the firearm season's over, but you've still got late archery season, you got the late doe season, you got muzzleloader season, so there's still a lot of opportunities for you or somebody you know or love to be up a tree. If they are, please beg them, cajole them, bribe them, embarrass them not to go up a tree without a full body harness on. Two types of tree stand hunters, those who have fallen and those who will. But if you fall, if you slip and you have a full body harness on, like a hunter safety system, you're not going to hit the ground. I think that a hunter safety system vest or a harness would be an absolute wonderfully great, how do you like that, wonderfully great Christmas present. Coming up just around the corner, right? Check them out online at huntersafetysystem.com, huntersafetysystem.com. By the way, you can buy their products at Jay's Sporting Goods and other great retailers across the state, huntersafetysystem.com. We're talking now with Dave Rose. Dave, a noted outdoor writer, a fishing guide, and also very much involved in the fishing shows across the state, specifically the show span shows. Dave, you do a great job with that. You are the voice of the show span shows. How did that come about?
You know, that's a really good question. You know, it started out, you were talking about, I'm a fishing guide, and you know, I purchased a booth and did my thing to promote the guide service. And then, of course, I got to know the management. And then I did some trading with them because, you know, it's not cheap to do a show and maybe do some services for them here and there and seminars and whatnot. Then all of a sudden it was just like, give me the microphone. There I am.
You're the man.
I'm the MC of, somehow I became the MC of the Ultimate Fishing Show, Outdoorama, and the Ultimate Sports Show.
Oh, that's very cool, very cool. Now, are you still doing seminars at these shows when you have the opportunity?
Actually, no, because I'm in charge of obviously paying attention to the time and making announcements and introducing other seminar speakers, maybe on Lake Ultimate or something like that. So, you know, we tried it. There just wasn't enough time, you know, and I wanted to put on a nice seminar for the folks. And so right now, as of right now, no, I'm just the MC.
What do you, not just, you are the MC. What do you consider your strong suit? I mean, if somebody said, what are you best at as far as fishing? Is there a particular species that you like more than the others?
You know, it's funny. I do not. And again, that's growing up here in the Northwest Lower Michigan. Somebody would just posted kind of a question, what's your favorite species? And I really cannot say. I mean, I love catching smallmouth, love catching walleye. I love all the trout species. Everything from, the Great Lakes to inland lakes, ice fishing. And I'm going to say D, all the above. I really do not have a favorite species.
Well, with that in mind, you live in probably the perfect part of our state.
When it comes to the diversity of fish, I mean, literally, I can catch every species of fish except, like I mentioned, stripers or paddlefish, literally 13 minutes from my doorstep. I figured that out one day.
Oh, that is actually, that's a pretty cool stat right there.
is. It is pretty cool. Yeah, everything from the Great Lakes stuff to rivers to you name it. It's just, it's a good place.
All right, so if you wanted to go fishing today, when we get off the air here right now, what would the opportunities be? Where would you go? What are the hot spots? What's going on?
Well, a lot of people don't think about this, and I'll mention, got a couple good friends, and they've been posting their catches on inland lakes, just like we were talking about walleyes on inland lakes. If I were to go out right now, maybe I'd go walleye fishing on an inland lake. It might be trolling, it might be casting, it might be a little after dark and casting suspending body baits up in the shallows. Perch fishing is always good, the cousin to the walleye. And we have inland lakes that can do their thing with that too. But a lot of people forget about the bluegill this time of year. And I got a couple buddies. They've been posting. There's a couple small lakes that have, they call them two-story lakes, so they get a thermocline. So there's actually rainbow and brown trout in there and some nice bluegills. And he's been doing really well, just a couple days ago, no less. So that's the bluegill fishing, I think, is one of those things that's the most overlooked this time of year.
Is it unusual to have rainbows and bluegills in the same lake?
Actually, no. Again, they talk about two-story lakes is what they originally call them. So any lake deep enough that can get a thermocline in it. And the thermocline is where, in the summertime, the upper water gets warm. There's definitely a level, let's say at 12 foot down, it starts to cool off. And so you can have a mix of fish like that. And I think a lot of these, get on the DNR website and look where they stock rainbows and browns, and I'll make you bet there's some really good bluegill fishing in those lakes as well.
I'm sure it varies from lake to lake, but basically how deep does it have to be to get a thermocline? I mean, will a 30-foot depth give you that, or has it got to be deeper than that?
It does not have to be deeper than that. I mean, 30-foot deep, we do a lot of fishing in the summertime, trolling the thermocline, and a lot of it is 30 to 45 feet, somewhere in there. The lakes may get a little deeper, but there's still that thermocline even up into the shallower stuff. So, and usually, on average over here in the summertime, about 12 foot down is where that thermocline is. And you can actually see it on your sonar. I turn the sensitivity way up. The warm water is going to have a lot of, just mass in it. It's not perfectly clear on your sonar. And that's dust and pollen and little particles of this and zooplankton or phytoplankton or whatever up in that warmer water. And then all of a sudden you'll see where it clears up on your screen. And that's usually the thermocline. That colder water does not have all those, algae blooms and whatnot.
You think a lot about trolling the big lake with a thermocline. I've never even thought about the inland lakes having that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. A lot of our lakes around, in my neck of the woods anyway, get to at least 100 feet. So, I mean, you'd be surprised at how small some of these lakes are, and they're 100 foot deep or 90 foot deep or whatever. And, of course, the glaciers carved all those out. But like I said, the lake doesn't have to get that deep. There's several lakes here. When I say only gets to 50 feet or whatnot, still, that's pretty deep for a lot of southern lakes. But thermoclines and inland lakes.
Well, and where you are, you can see down 30 feet into the water, which blows me away every time I head up north. It's like a different world from what I got down here.
Yeah, we've always had ultra clear water, and excuse me, in the Great Lakes, for an example, after the zebras came in and then the quaggas mussels took over, we went from looking down and seeing bottom in 30 feet. Now we're looking down in 60 foot of water and seeing bottom. And of course, a lot of our inland lakes have always been clear. They've always been, but unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because sometimes clear water like that. Boy, that's not easy to catch fish in clear water like that. It's hard to sneak up on them. We'll put it that way.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. I mean, if you can see them, they can see you. So how in the world do you ever target a fish like that? It's trolling, right? Because you get the lures away from the boat. That's one tactic. But how else would you approach that?
Well, one thing to look at, too, is, boating is getting more popular and whatnot. Fish are a product of their environment, and they do get used to some boating traffic. They get used to a boat drifting across the top. Somebody's on their pontoon boat eating a sandwich or doing whatever, to anglers that are out there fishing, to, jet skis and water skis and all that kind of stuff. So they do get used to that, and a lot of times that's why we have such good very early morning bites or late in the evening bites, because that light penetration is down and visibility, say that 10 times fast, is down.
Have you heard much from your steelhead fishing friends?
Yes, I just talked to a couple biologists about this like yesterday, but things were going great. The salmon came up. Of course, they're in there. Whether natural reproduction happens or not, the salmon go through the motions. They're laying eggs. There's always a lot of wayward eggs, and the steelhead come in, and they do a lot of chewing on eggs. So there was a decent number of steelhead caught in some of the rivers around here. Starting to slow down a little bit. Not as much food for them in the rivers. So a few of them are going to boogie back out into the Great Lakes. But there's always, this time of year, there's always steelhead still sticking around. You might change your tactics. Instead of using a spawn bag or a single egg or a bead or a fly that imitates eggs, now we're starting to switch over to using a float and having a little jig and putting some waxworms on there or wigglers or something like that. Just because the steelhead's diet is changing a little bit, and they start matching the hatch. You hear river trout anglers talk about that all the time, matching whatever's hatching. So. Right now, nothing's hatching, but there's wayward bugs.
I guess I was assuming, I knew that the steelhead followed the salmon in to feed on the eggs, but I guess I was assuming that most of them just stayed in the river all winter long. I never even thought about, when that egg supply dries up, some of those fish drop back to the big lake and don't come up till the spring when they spawn.
Yep, exactly. And it's been a little tougher in falls past. We went from some of my guide buddies would be on, let's say, the Big Manistee River, and these are guys that are throwing flies, egg-imitating flies and whatnot. Again, they're hooking 19, 25 fish a day. Now, a good day nowadays is 4 or 5, and, there is no exact answer to this, but with less salmon in the rivers, there are less wayward eggs, and scent is so important. I mean, when you have the mouth of a river boosting out into the Great Lakes, whatever's in that river is it's gonna taste and smell and whatnot going out into there. So I think there's less, even though because some of the boat anglers and stuff, they're like right now they're trolling off some of these ports on Lake Michigan and doing really well on steelhead, and those are fish that never even went into the river. So the less salmon eggs you got, the less scent you got going out. And again, a less steelhead might come up into the river. Again, it's not a science, but it's an idea.
Well, and those folks trolling the river mouths on the west side there, that will be productive as long as Mother Nature allows them, right? They can stay out there until it gets too nasty.
When I say off river mouths, you don't have to be off river mouths. You can go 3 miles offshore right now, get out into 200 feet of water, put some lead core out or some whatever, have some spoons out there, gold and orange, always a good color. Maybe some body baits, like bombers or some kind of a minnow like that, rapalas, and something with a wide wobble to them. And I've done it this time of year, December, 3 miles out, just like you're trolling in the summer for kings, and catching steelhead left and right.
Just like the summer, only conditions are a little bit different.
Yeah, you definitely want to wear your snowsuit, that's for sure.
Dave Rose, always a pleasure, and I'm going to throw this out there right now again publicly. It's a few months off yet, but you know what I'm going to tell you. If you don't, I'm going to tell you right now, on the record, on the air, if you don't join me on Saginaw Bay on the Angler Quest sometime next summer, I'm never having you back on as a guest on the show.
Oh, okay, now I have to.
Yeah, you have to. It's the only way I'm going to get you down here.
Well, I had total plans this year, and of course, something took over.
All right, my friend, always nice talking to you, and good luck with the show span shows. I hope everything works out.
Sounds great, and we'll see you at one of those shows when we have them.
I will look forward to it. We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine show and actually start to work toward the end of the show, but a few more things to talk about first. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Ludington on News 97, 98, 98.7 WLDN. You can hear us in Saginaw on our flagship stations, News Radio 790 WSGW and WSGW FM 100.5. As always, I say flagship with no disrespect to any of our affiliate stations. I appreciate and cherish the relationship with each and every one, but I have a very close working relationship here with the folks at WSGW. In fact, I'm in their studios right now. But for these 3 hours, it's called the Outdoor Magazine Radio Studio, and hence the graphic behind me. Charlie Root in here doing a wonderful job as always, just like Dave Rose was doing. He's turning just like that. This segment of Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by Wilds Plumbing and Heating. From plumbing, heating, air conditioning, sump pumps, ductwork cleaning, you name it, everything to keep your home warm, dry, comfortable. The folks at Wilds can take care of it. Check them out online at wildsplumbingandheating.com. That's wildsplumbingandheating.com. Well, this is the month of December. We made it through Thanksgiving. And now there's this big vacuum drawing us into the end of the year. Although this year it does feel different, at least in my world, it does feel a little bit different because, things are different this year, and there's not the get-togethers that there are in a normal year. But again, the interest in the outdoors this year is, I don't want to say at record numbers, but it's certainly on the increase, and that's great. I will go back in the whitetail woods myself here. I did hunt during the rifle season since we last talked. Didn't see anything, but the other two folks out there on the property didn't see anything that night either. And I think I'm going to pick up my recurve again, my Predator, Michigan-made Predator recurve bow, and go back to my quest of trying to kill a doe with that recurve. I have nothing against gun hunting at all. I love guns. I love gun hunting, but there's something in the back of my head that just keeps telling me do it with a recurve or don't do it at all. And I got to listen to it. And if I don't do it at all, that's okay too. That's not a big deal. But I will be out there during this muzzleloader season, which runs through the 13th statewide. And where I am, the county I am in, I could actually use a center fire rifle this year during the muzzleloader season. And there are several counties in the southern lower peninsula. And let me address this real quick, too. A lot of confusion this year about muzzleloader season and where you can use a center fire rifle during muzzleloader season. It's not statewide. It's only in certain parts of the southern zone. For example, if a center fire rifle was not allowed during your rifle season, you can't go out and use a center fire rifle now during muzzleloader season. Midland County, where I hunt, I could use a center fire rifle, so I was using my 30-06 during the rifle season. And because a center fire rifle was allowed during that season, I can also use it during the muzzleloader season. But I've decided I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to really try. I'm going to switch properties. I'm going to jump over to my buddy Scott's place. He's very gracious and invited me back out there. And I'm going to jump over there and see if I can pick up a late season doe with that recurve. I did discover, though, I went to string my recurve the other day, and I noticed my brace height was off. Now, there aren't many adjustments you can make with a recurve, at least in my fairly limited experience. You can adjust the brace height, and you can adjust the knocking point, where you knock the arrow on the string. And Mike from Hunter's Niche was telling me, I think the ideal brace height on that bow is like 7 1/4 inches. Now, a brace height is the distance between the deepest part of the grip where you put your hand, the most furthest forward point, the deepest point, back to the string. So my brace height was about 1/4 inch off. And that happened, I'm sure, because my string had stretched from the bow being strung and from me shooting it. I mean, it's going to stretch. They build them with minimal stretch these days, but that's what happened. So my brace height was off. I didn't even notice it, except for maybe a little bit of a funky arrow flight, and I just assumed that was me in releasing those arrows. So I'm going to experiment with putting a few twists in that string to shorten the string. And by shortening the string, you can increase your brace height, your brace distance. So I'm going to give that a try. And I'm going to sit back out there in an orange hat, because it'll be during the firearm season, and see if I can get done with recurve. I don't know. It's just something I want to do. If I don't, it wouldn't be the first thing I haven't been successful with on hunting, but just being out there makes it successful, right? Hey, a reminder about our Wednesday night live. I do those on Mike Avery Outdoors Facebook page, the YouTube channel, and on Twitter every Wednesday night. Now through the first of the year, We'll give away a Michigan brand ham from the Grillo family, the very wonderful Grillo family of Michigan brand meats. Probably also give away some Speedy Blaze as well. It's a real nice chance for you and I to interact. This Wednesday coming up, Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters will join me on Wednesday Night Live. We will announce the plans, the details for our big hunting trip next fall in Ohio. We'll have the dates and the price on that, so check out Wednesday Night Live, and you can always reach me. The website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com, and my email address is mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. A question, a comment, a question for the Ask Avery segment, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Minar will help us wrap up this week's Outdoor Magazine. Security Credit Union wants to thank you for helping to make them one of Michigan's fastest growing credit unions. Check out Security's Debit Rewards program, where you can earn points just by using your debit or Titanium Rewards credit card. Redeem those points for great gifts and merchandise. Or how about the Save to Win account? That's a Security Credit Union account that gives you all the benefits of a traditional savings account, plus the chance to win big. Every $25 you deposit into this share certificate earns you an entry into the monthly and quarterly drawings. The more you save, the more chances to earn, up to 10 entries per month. You'll build up your savings, earn interest and dividends, and have a chance at multiple prizes. And remember, Security Credit Union loves to work with outdoorsmen and women, and they can help you with your next outdoor adventure. Check them out online at securitycu.org. That's securitycu.org. Federally insured by the NCUA. Have you tried the Mike Avery Hunter Sticks from Michigan brand meats? They feature two of my favorites, elk and pepper, and I think they taste great. I've been working with the Grillo family of Michigan brand for a few years now, and I couldn't be happier. Michigan brand is family owned and based right here in Michigan, and they make lots of great products. From jerky, sausage, and those hunter sticks to their famous Michigan brand hams, you can't go wrong with Michigan brand meats. Plus, Michigan brand can process your boned out wild game too. Check out the website michiganbrand.net for more info. That's michiganbrand.net. You can buy the Mike Avery Hunter Sticks on that website. Plus, you can get them at Jay's Sporting Goods, all Forward convenience stores, Jack's Fruit Markets, and many other great stores too. There's a complete list on the website. Again, that's michiganbrand.net for the Mike Avery Hunter Sticks, the outstanding Michigan brand hams, and lots more. michiganbrand.net.
It's a complicated world we live in. Right about now, I'll bet your head is spinning like a tornado with news and opinions and conflicting do this and don't do that recommendations. Some days, you just want to throw up your hands, go to the woods, and stay there. And you know, that's not a bad idea. Jay's Sporting Goods encourages you to get back to your roots. Do some simple, traditional things for a while. In Michigan's great outdoors, space is one thing we have plenty of. So put as much social distance as you like between you and everyone else, including all your social media pals who somehow just recently became experts on every topic. And one more thing. Before you head out, head into Jay's Sporting Goods. Because even though there are shortages of a lot of things these days, Jay's has just what you need to make the most of your escape to our beautiful wide open spaces. It's the gateway to social distancing the way God intended. Jay's Sporting Goods, Clare and Gaylord.
It's time to think about your pig. You know, the propane tank in your backyard that heats your home. Well, there's no better company to fill your pig than Forward Energy, covering over 20 counties. Forward Energy is a family-owned and operated propane supplier that's fueled area homes, farms, businesses, and hunters and anglers since 1925. Fill your pig this year. Visit forwardenergy.com to find out about new customer pricing and programs.
With Forward Energy.
When you buy a Michigan hunting or fishing license, you're helping to fund conservation efforts across the state. The majority of funding for taking care of Michigan's fish and wildlife comes from you, hunters and anglers, not state taxes. So on behalf of the Michigan Wildlife Council, we'd like to thank you for your part in ensuring that Michigan's hunting and fishing heritage will be here for generations. Learn how the Michigan Wildlife Council promotes the role of hunting and fishing at hereformioutdoors.org.
Welcome back to Outdoor Magazine. This segment brought to you by Reader Landscaping. Reader can take care of your lawn and property because it's your nature and our nurture. Fall cleanup just about done now. I think, in fact, maybe all done now. But don't forget about the holiday containers that the folks, beautiful holiday displays, the folks from Reader can take care of for you. And also, if you're looking forward to snow... the folks from Reader can take care of that and clean up your driveway, clean up your sidewalks and your property. Check them out online at readerlandscaping.com. And Reader is R-E-D-E-R, readerlandscaping.com. If you've been with me before, thank you. If you're new to the show, thank you. But you'll know that each week we like to wrap up the show with wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Minar. And he's with us once again. David, welcome back.
Good to be back.
Always a pleasure. And listen, what's going on with your phone? Didn't you just get a new one?
Yep. This is the fourth phone I've had in probably 5 months or less.
Oh my goodness. Well, you sound good. You sound good right now, but you're using Terry's phone, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, there's one of the highfalutin ones. I have the middle of the ground.
Maybe you're going to have to. Maybe you're going to have to step up and move up a little bit.
Well, when I go there, I'm going to make some complaints.
I don't want Chef Dave Minar complaining to me, that's for sure.
I'm not that kind of a guy.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
Stuff, but it's got to the point where they're going to have to do something. I keep paying on this thing, and they give me a loaner, and then they mail me one, and like that. So anyway.
Hey, well, yeah, tell them you have important things to do. You have to do radio conversations. You need a reliable phone.
I've done it at their place using their phone one time, remember?
I do now.
At the Sprint store.
Hey, did you, how did the rest of your rifle season go, Dave?
Seen deer, never connected, but I still got muzzleloader. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of time, archery and muzzleloader. We got basically a month left.
Yeah, a lot of time. How about a recipe? What do you got in mind for us?
How about your family, Michael?
Well, I'm the only one who hasn't killed a deer.
Oh, me too. You and I are in the same boat.
But if
found our troubles someday.
If my son and grandkids can take deer and leave me out of it, I'm more than happy. I'm fine with that.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, how about a venison lasagna? Last week we did a nice comfort food like the meatloaf. This time the same thing. It's going to be for this kind of colder weather coming up. So it's the venison lasagna we're going to talk about. First, you're going to need about a pound of Italian sausage. You can either get mild or wild, spicy. You can get the raw stuff. You want to cook it, brown it off in a pan with a little bit of water and kind of get most of the grease off. Drain it, slice it thin. You need 1 to 1.5 pounds of ground venison, browned and drained off, but you're not going to really have to drain much of it. One of those larger containers of ricotta cheese, about 1/2 pound of Parmesan cheese. That would be one of those larger containers in the grocery store. 3 of them 8-ounce packages of shredded mozzarella, 3 jars of spaghetti sauce or tomato sauce, whatever you prefer, 1.5 pounds of cooked al dente noodles. You want to cook them just so they're nice and bendable. You're going to need a large oven-proof baking dish. One of the glass ones would be real nice. And then another pan that you can put that dish in so you can cook it in a water bath, which would be, you're going to keep water in the bottom of it so it's not to scorch, and a little bit of olive oil. Take some olive oil and spread the bottom of that pan you're going to do the lasagna in, and spread a thin layer of the spaghetti sauce on the bottom, not a lot, just a little bit to kind of moisten it. Put a few of the drained noodles down in the bottom, layer them out a little bit, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take some of the other noodles and go around the whole pan, put a little bit in the bottom, and then drape it up the sides and put it down all around the edges. So you got all of these lovely noodles hanging off. So then you're going to take like a layer, however you want to do this, be sausage, meat, ricotta cheese, Parmesan, and mozzarella. Thin layer, because you probably want to get about 3 to 4 layers like this. Then you want to put some more of them noodles, lay them flat out, and then do the same thing over and over again until you use up all of your ingredients. Try to stage it so you're not going to run out of one or the other until you're all done. So you're going to top with some more of the noodles if you have any left. Spread a thin layer of sauce on top, and you can do a thin layer of sauce in between each layer. Would be real nice, so it's not going to be dry. Now you're going to take those noodles that you've cooked and wrap them all over the top, and then a little thin layer of sauce goes on that. What I like to do is put saran wrap, the nice commercial stuff, aluminum foil on the top, and then you're going to place it in that larger pan with water. And you're going to bake it at 350 degrees for an hour, hour and a half, or until it reaches 180 degrees center. So it'll be nice and done. It could take, depending on how thick you make it, it could definitely take 2 hours, maybe even a little bit more. And you, what you want, if you don't want to do that water bath idea, don't put any sauce on the bottom. You know, just a light film of olive oil, and then cook it on the rack, not on the oven floor. But if you're going to use the water bath treatment, cook it on the oven floor. Use a little less heat, cook it longer, you know, and then have some of the hot sauce when you go to serve this. Cut it up in nice squares, individual size. Put some nice hot sauce on the bottom of your plate. Put your chunk of lasagna, the square of lasagna, and then put a little more sauce and maybe a little mozzarella and Parmesan on the top. And
Sounds wonderful. Sounds wonderful, Dave. We're out of time. Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire Dave Minar with a great recipe. Appreciate him joining us this time around. Appreciate you joining me as well. The website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. You can always reach me at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time right here on Outdoor Magazine.